What's up, everybody? This is Chris with the Reason for Believing channel. And what is the reason for what you believe in? I'm about to give you guys the reason for what I believe in as far as this Hurricane Dorian goes. So I've lived in Florida for almost 30 years. Yeah, about 30 years, right? I've seen lots of hurricanes. And it seems like over at least the past few years, they've tried to make these storms out to be something much greater than what they actually are. So as of right now, this is what Hurricane Dorian looks like. It's sitting right off the coast of Florida. It's supposedly this big, massive, huge, the biggest hurricane we've ever seen, the biggest storm we've ever seen. Catastrophic, deadly, gonna kill everybody. And these are the words that the media uses when they talk about this thing. Now I want to show you some anomalies, some things that just don't add up, that don't make sense when these storms. So last year, I can't remember what hurricane it was. I know with Matthew it missed us. There was one that did hit. I live in Orlando now. I'm in Central Florida. I grew up in St. Augustine. So when the hurricanes come, when it was a Category 1, Category 2, me and my family, we would go to the beach. We would actually go and hang out at the beach during these storms. I would go surfing in a Category 1 hurricane. It wasn't a big deal. It was just, it was big waves and rain and wind. But over the last couple years, we've seen much different things happen when it comes to hurricanes and how they're portrayed. Last year, the category is supposed to be this big, massive Category 4, like 2 million people left. 2 million people ended up leaving Florida. And I'll be honest, there wasn't a whole lot of stuff that happened. And I'm going to get into that in just a little bit more detail in a little bit, but I wanted to share this with you. I came across some websites. I wanted to do my own research when it came to finding out about the hurricanes. So what I did is I just went online and I Googled wind speed maps. So I wanted to get like exact wind speeds where everything was at. So this is the Dorian, the hurricane. This is earth.nullschool.net. And you can actually zoom out. You can actually zoom out and get anywhere in the world. Let me zoom out a little bit for you so you can see what I'm doing. And hold on, let's change this projection. So there we go. All right, I like it. So let's zoom in back to where we were. Zoom out one more time if you guys didn't catch that. Yeah. Zoom in one more time. And we'll go right to where the storm is again. We'll go down here. Now this is all live, this is all real time. It's all based on coordinates. It's all, there's different, I don't know the whole details on where this specific website gets its information from, but it lines up. It's consistent with the other websites that I actually use to. I don't just go by one source. I don't go by what the news says. I don't go by just one actual source of information. So right here we've got we've got the whole state of Florida, the whole peninsula of Florida. And you can literally point your cursor, that little green circle that's right on top of the eye, right in the middle of the eye right now. You can take that cursor and put it anywhere you want. You can put it out over here in the east, in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. We got 20-mile-an-hour winds. It gives you the exact coordinates for where you're putting them. Now I can move my cursor around all over this hurricane, all over the eye, all around the eye. And I'm getting 75, 88, 70 miles per hour, 89 miles per hour, 92. Usually on the east, northeast side, you're going to see the strongest winds because of the rotation of the hurricane. So right now we got 96 miles per hour. 80, 91. It just varies. Once you get into the eye, the wind speeds slow down. So we got 49, 38. Once we get into the center of the storm, it's 15 miles per hour, 12 miles per hour. So you can play around with that. All the links to these websites will be in the description. So you can play around with it. You can do your own research. You can just play around with it. So what I did is I live right about here. So maybe up a little bit. Either way, it's all roughly 15, 16 miles per hour in central Florida right now. So then we go over to the Florida wind speed map. So this is Florida current wind speeds, and this is usairnet.com, and it gives actual wind speeds at airports. So we have the Tamimimi Airport, we've got the North Perry Airport, the Fort Lauderdale International, Fort Lauderdale Executive. We can go up to St. Augustine, to the St. Augustine Executive Airport. We can go down here to Leesburg, Sanford. We've got Orlando. We've got Kissimmee. We've got tons of airports around here, and every airport has their own wind speed, and they display it for us. So right now in Central Florida, we have 17 miles per hour. Let me scroll up a little bit so you guys can see exactly where the information is coming from. Orlando International. It's on Cimarron Drive, Cimarron Boulevard, whatever it is. 436. 17 miles per hour. And you go back to this map, and what do we see in Central Florida? 17 miles per hour, right? 17 miles per hour. Maybe that's right there, 17 miles per hour. And then we go to a different one. This one is wind.willyweather.com. This is the Orlando wind forecast. The current speed and direction is right here. This little wheel going around. It's 16.1 miles per hour. Oh, maybe I'll do that. I'll reload everything. So we've got 21.9 miles per hour from the northeast. And we've got 27.6 mile per hour gusts. And that's coming from Orlando. That is the Orlando Executive Airport. Is that one. And then the NOAA is essentially the exact same. So we're getting accurate readings here. We can go down, we'll reload the USAirNet current Florida wind speeds, and we end up with some missing information. Try it again. No, it didn't upload all of the airports for some reason. But again, I mean, I'll leave all these links to these maps in the description so you can play around with this stuff, so you can look at it for yourself. Don't trust one source, and definitely don't trust the media. They give us, it's a strange thing to me. Most people that don't trust the media for news will trust the media for other things like the weather. So when they say big, massive 185, I don't even know what they say it is right now. I haven't looked in a little while. But we've been told it's 185 miles per hour, massive, huge, devastating, is going to kill everybody. Last year on Fox News, they said the hurricane was, if you didn't leave Florida, they're not going to go to your funeral. They're not going to feel sorry for you. You're going to die. Oh, and your kids are going to die too. That's on Fox News. You can look it up. This is the type of stuff that these people shove in our face. And I'm a contractor, so I was at Home Depot a few times this week, and it was a madhouse. Orlando is out of gas. I actually got gas today. There's still some gas. They're out of propane. There's hundreds of generators now at Lowe's and Home Depot. They're all over the place because they just shipped all this stuff in because of the way people are acting. And for this 185 mile per hour storm that is 94, 79, 80, 56 miles per hour, according to multiple sources, not just a news media outlet. This is current wind speeds from airports that are very accurate, very accurate. So what are you going to believe? Are you going to believe what you're being told by these news outlets, by the media? Are you going to believe what is public information? Are you going to take time to go and look at public information, at things? Are you going to verify things, or are you just going to trust and believe what's being told to you by somebody on TV? For me, I don't watch TV. I do watch TV when certain things like this happen, just so I can see what the narrative is, and to be able to either confirm or be able to reject the claims that were given. But there is some storm damage available online to see already from the Bahamas. So this is Hurricane Dorian storm damage. We have a house right here. Some roofing has come off. Some roofing on these yellow houses in the back have come off. We've got some looks like some smaller buildings that have been pretty much taken down, maybe a couple sheds or something. It's very windy, very rainy. Again, something that you would see from a Category 1 or 2 hurricane. And if you'll notice, remember, the Bahamas are a small island group in the middle of the ocean. When you have an area like that and you have a hurricane, you have a storm, what's going to happen is you're going to get massive amounts of storm surge. If you look at all of these pictures, what do all these pictures have in common? Not a lot of evidence of heavy wind damage. Not really. What you have is more storm surge damage. I've seen some videos, some things on Facebook. My wife had showed me some people down there that had been posting things and that were getting stranded. And you look at the videos and the pictures that they share, and it's, for the most part, it's storm damage, storm surge damage. You will get wind damage. Obviously, it's a hurricane. If this map right here shows us 87, 90 mile an hour winds, I mean, that's not a breezy afternoon. That's some strong winds, 96 miles per hour. But it's not the 185 miles per hour that they're telling us. We're not being given the right information, and we're making our decisions based off false information. And that's the whole point. That's the whole point of me sharing this. People say, oh, well, you don't believe that. I had somebody last year say, oh, you don't believe that there was a hurricane. No, there is a storm. There is a hurricane. I've lived here for almost 30 years. I've been through many hurricanes, and they're real. And there's one right here, right off the coast. But is it behaving? Is it acting? Are we being told everything about it that's true? And the answer is no, obviously not. This hurricane should have been hit us already. It's moving very, very, very slow. Yeah, very indicative to the Harvey hurricane that hit Texas. And let me tell you something. Hurricanes don't go into land, come back out, go into land, come back out, go into land, come back out, and go into land. They don't do that. A hurricane will go, and it will either turn up the coast, like we've seen many times, or it will go across Florida and into the Gulf, or across Florida into Georgia and dissipate. But as the years go on, we've seen hurricanes and these storms act very differently, and it's not climate change as the media portrays climate change. It's climate change as in weather manipulation. Yes, if you don't know that the weather is modified and controlled and manipulated, you've been sleeping under a rock. You obviously don't look up during the day and notice all the stuff that's being sprayed. You haven't done absolutely any research. You haven't watched any documentaries. They've been making not tsunamis, well, probably, but they've been making the monsoons over in Vietnam. When we were in Vietnam, they made it rain for 42 days or something like that. 47 days, 42 days. It's on a documentary. All this stuff is documented. We just don't take the time to look into it, and we believe the junk that's put out for us. Now, I showed you some footage, some photographs from the Hurricane Dorian in the Bahamas, right? Now, I want you to look at this. This is an F5 tornado, which is the same wind speed, basically, that we're told that this hurricane is. Now, you'll notice, look at this first picture. That foundation of the house is the only thing left. That house is completely obliterated. There's nothing left of that house. All of these houses are completely destroyed. Look at that. You can see the path that the tornado took. Those houses, you can see the path right there. Right down the middle of that picture is where the path that the tornado took. These houses are completely demolished. Look at that wide path that tornado took. All those houses down there, you can pull up these images. Just Google just what I did. I Googled F5 tornado damage, and these are the pictures that come up. Just homes and land just completely ripped apart. Houses just gone. Gone. There's nothing left on some of those lots. The houses are just gone. Take a few minutes. Just scroll through some of these pictures. Look at an F4, look at an F5, look at that thing. Look at that tractor. That thing is just completely twisted. That's what tornado force winds do. That's what it does. It shreds and rips stuff apart. It doesn't just bend some trees over, right? It just completely destroys everything in its path. Look at this thing. ExtremePlanet.me. Views of the 1995 Bridge Creek F5 tornado. Look at this stuff. Where's the picture? There we go. Look at that. That's the only thing left of that home. The thing is just completely gone. There's no home left there. No home at all. Look at that. The thing is completely twisted. You know how much force that it takes to do something like that? That and this is nowhere near the same. That's a Category 1, maybe a Category 2 hurricane, not a Category 6 like they claim. Absolutely ridiculous. If you believe this nonsense, I don't know what to tell you. Do your own research. Look at this stuff. Look at these images. Play around with them. Think, people. Think. And there's, right up here, Port St. Lucie, there's 2 twin nuclear reactors. A lot of people are talking about that those reactors will be damaged or destroyed during this storm. Now, a Category 1 or a Category 2 hurricane is not going to do it. There's something else at work here. There's something else with that modification of the weather that's going on. Now, last year with the hurricane that did hit, I was sitting in my bedroom looking out the window. My wife and I, we saw these green lights that would pulse in 2 times and cover the whole sky, and the weather would go from being mild to calm to being absolutely crazy within seconds, and it would last for 5 minutes or so, maybe 10 minutes, and it would go back to being calm. And you would see those I'm talking emerald green lights. I've seen transformers blow up. That is not a transformer, and transformers do not behave like that. Emerald green lights pulsing and covering the entire sky. And then the weather would get absolutely crazy. So, some of you know what I'm talking about. Some of you probably are clueless. If you'd like some more information, please, I'll leave my email in the description, but you can hit me up on JesusFollower1986@gmail.com. And there's one other thing that I wanted to point out to you guys. If you're not prepared, let this be a lesson to you. If you weren't prepared last year or the year before, we live in Florida. This is hurricane season. And wherever you're at, if you're not prepared for what's coming your way, if you have to wait until there's a hurricane to get prepared, I don't know what to tell you. I went out and got some. Actually, I went grocery shopping. I did my weekly grocery shopping. That's it. I was working the rest of the week. I've been working. I wasn't out there fighting for generators or fuel or propane or anything like that. I'm good. I'm stocked up. It's called wisdom. It's called common sense. It's just called being aware and being prepared. So, but I've seen people act crazy. If you're one of those people that have been acting crazy, running around trying to get all this stuff up, let this be a lesson to you. If you're sitting there trying to get all this food and get all this, let this be a lesson to you. Have food, have water, have a power source, have a way to cook food, have all that stuff on hand ready. Because if not, if you have to wait until it's time, I feel sorry for you. I really do. Because this is a little storm. Now imagine what's going to happen when the economy collapses, when the dollar goes down, when all these things that we know are coming are going to happen. What are you going to do then? What are you going to do when you go to the store and not only is there no propane, there's no gasoline, there's no generators, there's no this, there's no that, there's no food on the shelves, but at the same time, there's none coming. See, within 24 hours, Home Depot had about 300 generators at their store. Now, what happens when there's no more food coming? When there's no more propane coming? When there's no more bottled water coming? What are you going to do if you can't feed your family and you don't have clean water to drink? What are you going to do? What are you going to do if the paper money that you've had in your bank account is suddenly just gone because they shut the banks down, or they won't allow you to pull money out of the ATM and the banks literally will not give you your money back and the dollar has collapsed? What are you going to do? You better use this. I'm using this as a reference point to tell people what I've been telling them for a little while now, but using this as an example. Hey, what are you really going to do when stuff gets crazy? Because this is nothing. Now, this storm could create a lot of ruckus. It could create a lot of damage. And not only the storm, if you know what I mean. Be prepared. I don't know what else to tell you. Use this. Use this as a learning experience. I pray that nothing happens for this storm, that we just get a tropical storm, a Category 1, Category 2 hurricane like it is, and that there's no other means of technology that's used in destroying anything. You look at I'm going to give you a little side note. You look at the fires out in California. All right? You want to compare this to something. You go look at the pictures of the fires in California. And there will be cars and houses melted. Cars will be melted into the sidewalks, into the driveways. But there's trees that are still standing untouched, unscathed on the properties. And this is all over. The weather is a weapon, and the weapon is not the wind, it's not the rain. It's the other technologies that are in place and being used, and that plenty of people are talking about. But is the average person listening? Or do they just blow this stuff off and say you're an idiot? So, I think I'm going to leave it at that. I've said what I wanted to say. I showed you what I wanted to show you. The wind speeds is basically my main reference point, just to show you guys that what we're being told is complete garbage. Don't listen. Don't listen. Turn the news off. Do your own research. Pull these websites up. Get your own radar map out and see what's going on for yourself if you're concerned about this stuff. Have food, have water, have a way to protect your family, pray, and just be prepared. This is something minor. This is something minor. I'm out, guys. This has been the reason for what I believe in.